It's got to be still,
You
right?
can do it, Zach.
We're live.
We're live. Okay, I'm going to introduce, and then I'll introduce Debbie. Okay, ready? Well, hello, I'm back. This is David Oliver. This is the video number 6, and we hope you like it because my good wife Debbie Oliver and my best caregiver and support system for this cancer is going to be the star today. Because her version of the 21 days between chemo treatments is vastly different than mine. And I learned this after we produced video number 4, if you've seen it. And so I'm going to turn this over to Debbie, if you can focus on her, and she's going to tell you, those 21 days for the caregiver, totally different experience from the person with cancer. Debbie, what do you want to say?
Well, the first thing is that the 21 days for the caregiver actually start the day before the chemo, because at that point he starts his steroids, and what I termed the Superman period begins. We start with a steroid pill in the morning, and by noon he is no longer able to drive anymore, at least according to me, because I kind of like driving on the correct side of the street and not running through stoplights. And so my role then, at that point, once those steroids kicks in, my job begins, because Superman, although he feels really good, his sense of reality is actually quite warped. And so if you imagine Superman thinking he can leap tall buildings, that's what David's like. And he will say silly things like, I don't need a nap today. If I do, I'll just lay down in my office. Now, if you've seen his office, there's no way that anybody could possibly lay down there. After the chemo, we go then for the chemo, and by the 3rd day of the steroids, every single time he'll go, that's okay, your schedule's busy, you don't need to worry about driving me, I can drive myself. Now, he cannot remember his name, my name, or anybody else's name.
I did give up my keys one day. So
I take the keys. Keys, they're gone day 1, or by day 0, and certainly, but he always tries. This last time, I was 5 minutes late picking him up during the Superman phase, and he decided to walk to work. Now, work is 5 miles up hills, and it was 6 degrees without gloves. This is a very dangerous time for him because his white blood cells go low, and he can end up getting a cold or catching some virus. So I picked him up, and I had to have a few words. I think people underestimate the difficulties of caregiving when you have to combat somebody who doesn't realize what they're saying. His personality, this loving person, actually becomes almost like having a teenager, because I have to stop him from doing things that would harm himself, not because he's mean, but he thinks he's fine. And he will say, the reason he ended up in the hospital the last time is he would say, I've drank 2 glasses of water. Well, he might have had 2 ounces of water out of 1 cup. And so it's my job to stay on top of all of that. And it gets a little bit frustrating because I then say, I get tired of being a nag. I don't like being a nag. So his best days that he described as days 1 through 4, those are my worst days. Those are the hardest days. Those are the days that I say to my friends, if the cancer doesn't kill him, I might. Because I get so frustrated holding onto Superman's cape so he doesn't leap tall buildings. Day 5 through 6, the days that he crashes, that the kryptonite sets in, are the days I live for, quite frankly, because he sleeps. And yes, it's my job to make sure he drinks and to make sure that he tries to eat something, and those are incredibly frustrating times. But I get to rest when he's resting, which is a lot. So I spend my time resting and trying to help manage all of those symptoms. Throughout all of this, his pills get incredibly messed up, and he never sees that his pills are messed up. And so I'll have to remind him that lorazepam is Ativan, and that crazy word that starts with an O is actually his nausea medicine. And yes, you do need to take it proactively. Let's not wait until we're throwing up at the middle of the night. We want to be more proactive than that.
And actually, that's for 4 days, days 5 through 9. You said 5 through 6, but it's 4 days.
And then we have the always being corrected and always being right phase. That's between Superman and day 6, and that happens a lot. Even actually this last time there was a little paranoia in there. He had to grab my phone and see what I was texting to our daughter, because he becomes convinced that we're not telling him everything, which is so unlike him. It's just that confusion for me personally is the most challenging symptom that we deal with, and probably the one least acknowledged by the medical profession as a whole. But day 12 is the day I call Resurrection Day, because he wakes up and he smiles again, which is much more like him, and our life becomes easier. So both of us like week 3, and we live for week 3. So
And
that's the caregiver's perspective.
We've had a lot of nice trips.
We have.
That's right. So that's our story. So caregivers out there, I know those of you that have heard this, you know what Debbie's talking about. And I guess I should apologize but you know, we're on this journey together and we're learning just as you are. So stay tuned. We're going to not run out of topics. There'll be another video soon. Thank you.